MAGA schoolgirls adoption, community clings to hope amidst pain and fear.
Honestly, they are still in fear. Since yesterday, we could not sleep. May God come to our aid.
President Tinubu to join global leaders in South Africa's G20 summit and Angola's AU-EU meeting.
Federal government assures Abu Dhabi-Beijing consortium of stability.
The present administration had created the enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we revisit Safe School initiatives.
The recent abduction of 25 students, female students from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga in Dakwa-Wasagu local government area of Kebbi State has again raised urgent questions about the state of the Safe School initiative in Nigeria.
Absolutely. And just 2 days ago, that's on November 17 this year, armed bandits attacked the school, killing the vice principal, injuring a staff member. This is yet another reminder of the insecurity threatening educational spaces across Nigeria.
You're right, Claire. This incident adds to a long history of school adoptions and attacks from Chibok to Damasak and several others that have attracted both national and international attention.
So the Safe School initiative was introduced as a result in 2014, and that was after the Chibok abduction, as a federal government framework to protect schools, teachers, and basically the learning environment.
The Safe School initiative seeks to boost physical security in schools, strengthen collaboration between communities and security agencies, improve emergency response, preparedness, and provide psychosocial support for affected students.
Apart from that, it is also expected to bring together multiple stakeholders, including federal and state authorities, as well as the local governments, the military, police, civil defense, and various international partners.
So this morning, we take a fresh look at the Safe School initiative, its promises, its gaps, and what the current security realities mean for Nigerian students. I am Ademola Ade. Always a pleasure having you join us.
And I join Demola to welcome you once again to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA, Africa's largest television network. Always a pleasure to have you with us. The newspaper review will, of course, come at its usual time. But for now, Mina Daniels is on the morning news. I am Claire Delapap-Razak. Here is Mina.
Good morning, Ademola and Claire. Here's the morning news. Following the tragic abduction of schoolgirls from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School Maga in Kebbi State, the community is still grappling with fear and uncertainty. The attack, which also claimed the life of the school's vice principal, has left deep emotional scars on residents, especially parents of the abducted students, who now cling to hope for their safe return.
Honestly, we are still in fear. Since yesterday, we could not sleep. May God come to our aid.
I will forever remember my husband, especially the way he's taking care of me and my children.
President Bola Tinubu has asked Vice President Kashim Shettima to visit Kebbi State on Wednesday to sympathize with the state government and assure parents and guardians of the kidnapped schoolgirls that the government will ensure their quick release. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says President Tinubu also sent his condolences to the military over the deaths of the gallant soldiers and Brigadier General Musa Oba, who paid the ultimate price while on active duty fighting insurgents in Borno State. The president, who the military authorities have fully briefed about the two incidents, expressed sadness over the abduction of the schoolgirls, despite intelligence warnings of possible strike by the bandits. He commended Governor Ahmed Nasir Idris for the efforts made to avert the kidnapping. President Tinubu urged communities across the country, especially in areas facing security challenges, to share information and intelligence that will help the military, the police, and the DSS to make the communities safe. The Nigerian Senate is reacting to Monday's abduction of 25 female students in Kebbi, asked the armed forces to immediately recruit at least 100,000 personnel to confront the challenge of insecurity. The Senate also condemned the abduction and sympathized with families of victims.
We want the country to be safe for all Nigerians, and that is why they elected us here, to make laws, resolutions, and take steps to ensure that we, in line with our constitutional duties, that lives and properties are safe.
Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has called on wives of the new service chiefs to provide their husbands with needed support as they work hard to meet the expectations of their commander-in-chief and Nigerians in the fight against insecurity. She made the call during a courtesy visit to her office by wives of the new service chiefs.
We know there are a lot of veterans that are old, and then they will need little financial assistance towards the Yuletide season. So we are going to do 250, but I expect that when we do that, you can also introduce that to your husbands so that you can begin to take care of the elderly amongst them, because all of us will grow old.
The federal government has restated Nigerians' readiness to do business with the rest of the world, saying ongoing reforms undertaken by the present administration across different sectors is opening new opportunities for investments. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he received a delegation from the Advanced Energy Partners, led by Chairman of the consortium, Senator Abu Ibrahim, on a courtesy visit to the presidential villa.
The present administration had created the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. All the bureaucratic bottlenecks, the opaqueness that tends to define our petroleum industry has been eliminated.
President Bola Tinubu will depart Abuja this Wednesday for a two-nation visit to Johannesburg, South Africa, and Luanda, Angola. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, noticed that President Tinubu's first stop is Johannesburg, where he will attend the 20th Summit of the G20 leaders. After the summit, he will proceed to Angola for the AU-EU Summit. President Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African leader, who also serves as the current president of the G20 group, invited his Nigerian counterpart to participate in this year's edition. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva of Brazil had, during his presidency of the group in 2024, equally invited President Tinubu to Rio de Janeiro. The summit, scheduled to take place from Saturday, November 22nd to Sunday, November 23rd at the Johannesburg Expo Center, brings together leaders from the world's top 20 economies, including the European Union, the African Union, and financial institutions, amongst others. The battle for the control of the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, took a disturbing dimension on Tuesday as two factions of the National Working Committee clashed. Timothy Yusuf reports that it was a chaotic situation that was later brought under control by security operatives.
We are willing to lay down our lives, to protect our office, to protect our democracy, to protect our mandate.
Our chairman has given explanation. We are not just here to cause trouble or this is our own place.
And a bill seeking to reduce the age limit to 30 years for aspirants seeking election into the Senate and office of governor of a state has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. The Constitution Alteration Bill, sponsored by Representative Martins Essen, received overwhelming support in a voice vote on the floor.
A member of this House at 25 years spends 2 terms in the House of Representatives. He will be 33 years and he will still not be qualified to go to the Senate or to become a governor. So I think that this Honorable House should look into it.
And those are the highlights of the news at this time. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Demola and Claire after this commercial break. Please don't go.
Nevertheless, we must come to terms with existential reputational threats to our national brand, in which external purveyors of untruths are mischaracterizing our nation as a destination for a so-called persecution of people based on their religious faith. This is a propaganda externally woven by those who want to break or weaken our unity. For the upteenth time, I'm emphatic that there is no iota of truth in the communication that is out there, that there is a deliberate, calculated effort where one particular religion is targeted for extermination. I therefore urge us to use the instruments of public relations crafted in truths and facts to vehemently reject this single despicable narrative about Nigeria. It is incumbent on all of us to unite in a voice that will ensure that Nigeria is indeed a country that is anchored on the freedom for everyone to practice his or her religion. In any case, that is what our Constitution stipulates.
For an exclusive 3-time skin effect, try Nivea Men Deep powered by black carbon. For 48-hour deep moisture, a fresh skin feel, and a long-lasting masculine fragrance. Make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion. Try Nivea Men Deep Roll On for 72-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
Ready for school? Yes! My champs, they use energy at school. I know because imagine the energy they may have used up to return home distransformed every day.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release to help champs get the most out of their active days.
Milo!
Let's go, darling.
Say what?
I like what I see. Can't get enough of me. I feel like a darling. I feel like a darling.
Darling Braid. Wear the latest styles that make you feel like a darling.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to...
The only tomato paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness. Eat healthy to live longer. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount.
Tomato paste.
taste of Nigeria.
Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. The city is moving. New voices, heavy drip, all heart. From the streets to the stage, this is the next Afrobeat star.
What are we here for? Let's Afrobeat star. Let's get nasty.
And the talents from all over showed up to own the room. But they're not alone.
Spiritual. Gospel.
All chasing a slot to face the judges. Puffy T, SARS, Andre Vibes, P Pride. Catch next Afrobeat star on
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Get ready for a special Christmas celebration like no other.
Join us on Sunday, December 7, 2025 at the National Christian Center, Central Business District, Abuja for the FRCN, NTA and Vaughan service of 9 lessons and carols.
Theme of 2025 is
Jesus our strength.
With a charge from Reverend Dr. William Okoye.
The service of 9 lessons and carols live on FRCN, NTA and Vaughan. Sunday, December 7, 2025
at 3 p.m. Be there
at the National Christian Center, Central Business District, Abuja.
Don't miss the service of 9 lessons and carols live on FRCN, NTA, and Vaughan.
Join us and celebrate the true meaning of Christmas.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next is Newspaper Review. Stay with us.
Sorry about that glitch. Chukwudi Okolibuaja is right here with us. Chus, good morning.
How are you, Claire? Good morning. Good to see you. Demola, how now?
Well, I'm fine, and you?
You actually introduced so happily. Thanks for saying the smile was unmistakable. So things are okay with you this morning. Can we go, ladies and gentlemen?
Certainly.
He doesn't know what to say.
I was just going to say that we would have been fine if not for the incidents that are happening.
Definitely is going to be part of what we're reviewing. It's a shame.
Okay, let me quickly take the leadership. Leadership is quite busy this morning, but let me start just above the nameplates. People's Democratic Party crisis. Governors take over Secretariat as Wike's camp expels Makinde and others. It's on page 7. External reserves hit $46.7 billion, highest since 2018. That's according to the central bank. And the main story, the headline story for leadership is right in front there. Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. Daniel Oko insists. It's on page 20. Kebbi school girls abduction. How my husband was killed. Slain teacher's wife recounts. And there are writers there. Security operatives ignored Department of State Services intelligence sources. Remain calm. Students will be released. Army chief and governor say. It's on page 4. The other story is trending here on the front page. Senate seeks recruitment of 100,000 soldiers. Probe of saved school funds. And banks deposit with Central Bank of Nigeria soars to 48.40 trillion naira. I'll quickly jump over to The Nation so we can do a review of many more stories. All right, let's take the headliner. Abducted people's president sends Shatima to Kebbi. It's assault on education, says First Lady. COS to troops step up rescue efforts. On the other side, Khan's Christians targeted killings claim faulty. Sands, ex-VC, others disagree. Factions in fierce battle to control PDP headquarters. It's there, and the riders are there. There are other stories, but I guess we could just quickly do a review of the main stories.
Okay, the Blueprint newspaper, just above the nameplates, Minister hails conviction of Professor Indifo for sexual offences. Then the major headline reads, security aides fight as PDP factions battle for secretariat. The federal government committed to made in Nigeria goods. That's by the Vice President. Details page 11. Then we have ghost voter practice, a thing of the past. Amokwiton assures Nigerians. Scores beavers high in Anambra polls. Then we have Kebbi school kidnap. Shatima visits as governor alleges sabotage. Senate wants 100,000 recruited into army. Chief of Army Staff orders 24-hour manhunt. Police arrest suspect for alleged organ harvest in Nasarawa. Page 13. Catholic Reverend Father abducted in Kaduna. Details of that story can also be found on page 11. Reps dedicate Thursday plenary to debate Nigeria security challenges. Chooks?
A little glitch in reading there. Cannes Christians targeted killings claim. Executive pause. Faulty. You don't want to meet such strings when you read the news. You know, it happens to us from time to time. Anyhow, first of all, before we go to PDP and what it has decided to do to itself, another incident in Kwara. What was the name of the community? Eruku? Was it called?
Yeah, Eruku.
You know, when things like this happen, sometimes it's an indication that terrorists, bandits, or whatever their names are having it hot in face-to-face with the... So to create the impression that we are still active, we are still when they do these things. I am saying this so that our despair does not go into real melancholy and anguish. The fight is still on. We will win it. But the optics have to be recognized. Shetima sent to Kebbi to commiserate with them, to show solidarity with the school, parents of those abducted. I like that. Chief of Army Staff comes and says they will be released. Claire, Demola, and Chukudi are saying with our feeble CV voices, they must be released. Because they say that once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. That was what one of the villains, James Bond pursued, told Mr. Bond when he found him on his premises the 3rd time. This is getting out of hand. And in terms of optics, Trump in his loud soliloquy would say, didn't I tell you about these people? We are coming with guns a-blazing and all that. Nobody is coming in with guns a-blazing. But we need to do something really drastic to stop this. Yeri and I were saying, does it mean that maybe between 2 and 3 months, one girl is going to be forced into a pregnancy she never contemplated about 1 week ago? You know, we are not supposed to inject anger into presentation. Your emotions are not relevant to us, you know. We only ask you to be sober when you're reading somebody's obituary, so you don't begin to sound like you killed a man. Otherwise, I really feel annoyed that this is happening. When are we going to get it right? And I keep on saying that it tells me that good synergy is not happening between security operatives and we the people. When that happens, NTA had it. No, it was Radio Rivers too. I'm a robber, not be spirit. Now, person like you and me, when they laugh for that to be a parrot. We know ourselves. We know some of these people. Can we join the fight? Can we please begin to see something and say something? Even though Yere claimed yesterday that when you see something and say something, you may see something because you said something. You know? talking about the intimidation from those, which is not untrue, Claire. I can see that you equally feel sad. It's just that you're not vocalizing yours yet.
No, I feel terrible.
It doesn't make sense anymore.
Because of the gender, the level of danger they are in, I mean, you can only imagine. When it comes to abduction of girls, the world, frowns at it terribly.
The world cringes from
it. Now you're talking about 25 girls.
Trauma.
We're still expecting some other girls who have been kidnapped, some Chibok girls.
They're not all free yet.
Actually, we're not even sure of the number.
We're not even exactly.
Numbers.
So you can imagine, and I have a daughter, so I can imagine what the parents of these girls are going through at the moment. Some may never even come.
Trauma does not quite describe it.
So I really feel. And then you now talk about the incident in Kwara. I saw a video. I don't know, the source of that video. And you saw people, old women, very fragile.
Very fragile. Running.
I can tell you, we are TV people. We're not technical people. But when you've done this job for a long time, that camera shot was too steady to have been just quickly planted or taken from a phone. That camera was stationed.
CCTV?
Could be CCTV.
I don't think it was CCTV.
You think so?
I don't think so. Well, let us not go into that since we cannot prove it.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the impunity that seems to have accompanied a dastardly act.
And they took their
time.
That
camera shot was too sure to have been hastily put together. So it tells me a few things. Well, let the security people begin to do such intelligence work or guesswork. It is just unfortunate.
Okay, let's quickly. I know you would like to talk about.
Let's talk about PDP.
Did it become really a free-for-all at Wadata yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Makinde camp backing Turaki, Wike camp backing Anyangu camp, Wike on ground to back Anyangu camp, according to what we read. I don't
read
know.
And saw.
Okay, our reporters must have seen it.
In all of that, our cameraman was battered yesterday. I mean, I'm wondering why pressmen will be chosen, to be beaten when at such
No, the thing is this, I've always said something. Till Nigeria begins to respect journalists, this country will not improve. I'm not saying it because of a journalist. I said the other time, if a politician is not afraid that Chukwudi, the reporter, is around to capture ballot stuffing and all that in those days, he's not really injuring Chukwudi's ego or professional pride. He's hurting the country. So if you batter the cameraman, it tells you where they have placed us as a people. And I'm not pronouncing a curse on my country. Till you begin to respect the journalists of a country, you can't make progress. Because what you're telling them is that I can do it and get away. The job now is to find out who battered that cameraman and tell him, no, you don't do that. You can't do that. You don't take us back to the caves. You don't.
I hope we do that. I hope we do that. But on a lighter note, on the good side, before we just call it off, foreign reserves has hit $46.7 billion.
It's a 7-year high. Please put that there.
Yes, it's a 7-year high. I was going to say that.
My friend who called me a Tinubu apologist, when you do this kind of job, you are going to expect people to criticize you. But I keep on saying, when I say things, I take it to data.
Okay.
They are not manipulating the National Bureau of Statistics. I don't think so. Even the World Bank is speaking. So something seems to be happening. Can they please do more?
Okay, they will
so
do
that Demola will smile better.
Thank you. Thank you, Chooks. We have to draw the curtain here.
Thank you.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll kickstart our conversation. Stay with us.
Nevertheless, we must come to terms with existential reputational threats to our national brand. in which external purveyors of untruths are mischaracterizing our nation as a destination for a so-called persecution of people based on their religious faith. This is a propaganda externally woven by those who want to break or weaken our unity. For the upteenth time, I'm emphatic that there is no iota of truth in the communication that is out there, that there is a deliberate, calculated effort where one particular religion is targeted for extermination. I therefore urge us to use the instruments of public relations crafted in truths and facts to vehemently reject this single despicable narrative about Nigeria. It is incumbent on all of us to unite in a voice that will ensure that Nigeria is indeed a country that is anchored on the freedom for everyone to practice his or her religion. In any case, that is what our Constitution stipulates.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care with 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
Toilets have stains which bleach cannot clean effectively. But Harpic is thicker and sticks better, which gives 10x better cleaning versus bleach and kills germs. Oh, wow. You can now see that Harpic is better than bleach.
Evie, you look worried. What's going on?
My big cousin in the university might have to drop out of school. He can't afford his school fees.
Oh no, that's not fair. Wait!
What is it, Tomiwa?
I remember my dad talking about something called Nail Fund. He said it could help university students pay their school fees.
Nail Fund? What is that?
Hey, Captain Excellence! Do you also know about Nail Fund?
Absolutely, Tomiwa. Now Fund is a federal government initiative that aims to provide financial assistance to students pursuing higher education. Now Fund not only gives money for school fees, but even school allowances, called stipends. It's the government's way of keeping their promise that no child will be left behind.
Really? You mean this Tinubu government?
Yes, now. You see, Now Fund is a government loan that helps you pay for school, and you only start paying it back later, little by little.
Ha! It's a loan. Doesn't that mean my big cousin will be swimming in debt?
Not exactly. First, this loan comes with no interest. You only start paying back when you get a job. Even then, it will be just a tiny bit at a time.
My dad says it's just like what they do in other countries like America.
Wow! This is a great idea.
See? With a Now Fund, everyone can go to school even if you don't have money. Look at those smiles.
Wow! That's amazing. I am going to tell my big cousin right now.
Remember, Now Fund is here to help every young Nigerian get the education they deserve. No child should be left behind.
Welcome back to Good Morning Nigeria, and if you've just joined us, you're watching the program on the network service of the NTA. And this morning, we will revisit Safe School Initiative, and this, of course, is because of recent incident, abduction of, another round of school children, not just school children, school girls. And I like, as someone, put it on her column. He said it's become a depressing pattern, a familiar depressing pattern. I mean, you find a group of armed groups on motorbikes, they come, and then you see students, scampering all around. So it's quite depressing, I must confess. But before we start our conversation, we have a background report put together by our correspondent, Ekene Ndilwe.
On Monday morning, the community of Maga in Kebbi State was disrupted when armed bandits entered the government girls' comprehensive senior secondary school. 25 female students were taken and a staff member lost his life during the attack. The incident has once again highlighted the vulnerability of many schools in regions affected by insecurity. For the affected families, the immediate concern is the safe return of the girls, while the broader community is grappling with the emotional and psychological impact of yet another school attack. This latest abduction echoes a pattern that has unfolded over the past decade, most notably with the Chibok incident, where nearly 300 girls were taken from their school. Despite national and international attention, attacks on educational institutions continue, threatening access to learning and weakening trust in school safety. Following earlier attacks, the Safe School initiative was introduced to strengthen protection measures around schools. However, experts and education advocates note that many institutions still lack adequate fencing, lighting, trained security personnel, and clear emergency response systems. The situation in Maga underscores the need to reassess how the initiative is being implemented on the ground. As efforts to locate the abducted students continue, the incident serves as a reminder of the importance of secure learning environments. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, already seated in the studio, will shine the spotlight on the Safe School initiative.
Thank you very much, Ekene, for that background report, the importance of securing the environment of our schools. And we already have our guest in the studio who are ready to discuss this issue. Let me just start with Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, experts of Safe School Initiative. You are welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and good morning to the viewers.
Also joining us here this morning is Patrick Agbambu, is the President, CEO, Security Watch Africa Initiatives. Patrick, it's good to have you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
All right, and we have joining us from Birin Kebbi State, Yakubu Ahmed Birin Kebbi is the Commissioner for Information and Culture. Honorable Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Sorry.
Can you hear us? Because we want to, our first question is...
Yeah. Yes, okay. Honorable Commissioner, first of all, we'd like to commiserate with you and indeed the people of Kebbi State over the MAGA abduction, and we would like to appreciate you especially for joining us at this difficult time. I know a lot of people, the families of the abducted girls, the state government, everyone would like to probably, know the update so far. I wonder if you could fill us in with, the intelligence that the state government is currently working with. That the state government...
Consolation.
Honorable Commissioner, you may have to unmute yourself. if you can hear me, Honorable Commissioner.
Okay, let's go back to the studio so that we can, look at the issue of Safe School Initiative. Let's start with Group Captain Garba Shehu. I mean, with this latest development now, what can you say about the School Safe Initiative? Is it really working? What are the gaps that you have noticed?
Okay, thank you very much. First, permit me to, by way of clearing a little misconception, we use the term Safe School Initiative and Safe School Declaration interchangeably. It is good to put it in context.
Okay.
When we had the first abduction in Borno, I think it's the Chibok girls, the Safe School Initiative was an internationally driven action by the former Prime Minister of Britain, Gordon Brown, who got some experts, some people that are concerned outside Nigeria. They put their resources, and that Safe School Initiative started, specifically for that Chibok girls or something.
Okay.
With due respect, if I recall very well, he didn't get much buy-in from the federal government. So that Safe School Initiative, at that time, that Safe School Initiative only ran for certain distance. They were able, for example, to relocate some of the girls' schools from conflict-affected areas and transfer them to other schools. They did some remarkable work, but due to lack of maybe proper buy-in, because like I said, this is an internationally driven initiative, the Safe School Initiative did not last long. Then when we continued having Dapchi, Kankara, and the rest, then Nigeria in 2019, I think during Buhari, when Adamu was Minister of Defense, there was this initiative again now, Safe School Declaration. This, was another international endeavor that invited many countries. It was realized that in many countries where there is conflict, schools become the object of attacks, either attacked directly or becoming temporary camps, or where people keep this. And so Nigeria joined that. And it was the Ministry of, the Minister of Education at that time, he brought, and President Buhari actually signed, I think 2020 or 20, Nigeria is part of that Safe School. Now, under that Safe School Declaration, there are many guidelines that countries are expected to do. Either physical security, either procedural security, either training for both staff, students, and security agencies. But unfortunately, again, because of our bureaucratic mismatch, like I told you, when you look at it, when we are talking Safe School, logically, you would think that such an initiative should be domiciled in Ministry of Education.
Group
Yes,
Captain,
yes.
can we just pause you a while,
Yes.
if you don't mind? Because really, Safe School, is the umbrella topic, our topic, but we'd also like to background it by, getting information from the Commissioner for Information,
it's all right.
who is joining us again. I hear he can hear us and we can hear him. Honorable Commissioner, once again, thank you for joining us at such a difficult time for you and indeed for the country. I had asked, if you had an update, specifically, is there any intelligence that the state government is currently working with at the moment, and how far has it gone?
For having me. I would like to start by saying that, of course, the Kebbi State government, the governor in particular, has been up and doing since this incident happened. He relocated, he went to Maga, spent the night there with the parents of the abductees. He encouraged them, he sympathized with them as a father, and he assured them that the government would be relentless in its pursuit of the criminals until the girls are freed. That is the situation at the moment, and I would rather have prepared to give you more insights of the progress that has been made already. But I think that will be unwise at the moment to begin to talk in depth of what has been achieved so far in terms of trying to recover the girls, because I believe doing that will imperil and jeopardize the investigation or put the lives of the girls at risk. But I'd like to assure Nigerians that the Kebbi State government, the governor in particular, has been up and doing. He's synergizing with top military and other security echelon. He is also interfacing continuously with other stakeholders something is being done, but I wouldn't want to go into details of it so as not to jeopardize the investigation and the level it has reached so far in trying attempt to free the girls. But as I said earlier, I will advise Nigerians to, number one, begin to continue to pray for the girls, for the Kebbi State government, to continue to understand that this is a situation for the whole nation. I understand some people will rather politicize the matter in order to make some political capital out of it. But I think this is a moment of national problem. All of us are involved, and I think we should join hands with the Kebbi State government and the Nigerian government in order to ensure that the right things are done, and we begin to see the outcome of the progress that I've just mentioned that has been made on this matter.
Can you give us the official account? I mean, we've heard stories of what happened, but can you give us the official account of what happened? Can you confirm to us that there was prior intelligence sharing about what was going to happen, and then there was a withdrawal of, troops deployed to the secondary school, and that the attack happened just 30 minutes after that withdrawal? Can you confirm, this account for us?
Confirm it at the moment because I'm not privy to that. But I know for sure that the Kebbi State government has done quite a lot, long before the incident in Maga. The Kebbi State government has been privy to quite a number of intelligence reports across the state and even beyond. I want Nigerians to know from the beginning that we've been having problems of bandits coming in from parts of Zamfara and Niger State and even Sokoto State. We don't have any single cell of bandits in Kebbi State. What they do is to infiltrate from their comfort zones in Zamfara and infiltrate, come in and perpetrate their evil and rush back. But the issue of soldiers not responding or leaving the school, I'm not privy to that. But I know for sure that the Kebbi State government, since the coming of this administration 2 years ago, there has never been any government in Kebbi State that has been as responsive as this government in terms of responding to security issues. We have a governor that, since he became governor, there has never been any request, there has never been any soliciting for assistance from the Kebbi State government to the security agencies involved in this issue that he has not provided. He has been 100% responding. Whatever is asked, he has provided. But I wouldn't want to go into the issue of soldiers either abandoning or not abandoning because I'm not privy to it. If I am, I will have. But I know for sure what the Kebbi State government has been doing. If you remember, when the governor assumed office, parts of Kebbi were under the control of bandits. Markets were closed. Farmers wouldn't go to farms for obvious reasons. But the response of the state governor, the way he has interfaced and provided logistics, unprecedentedly, logistics, allowances for security officers involved in it, and other benefits that should ordinarily encourage the security agencies to be up and doing as well. We have been doing very well from the Kebbi State government as far as our capacity and ability to assist and help. We've been doing that quite frankly.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, we just want to find out specifically the number of students that were abducted, because there are conflicting numbers. Some said 25, some 20, some 30. Can you just be specific now? Tell us the number of students and also what the state government is doing to the victims' family, especially the vice principal that was, killed, and also the families of the abducted students.
At my disposal at the moment, we have 24 girls missing. 24 girls. The question of what the government is doing as far as how the government is handling the issue with the parents and the rest of it. As I said earlier at the beginning of this interview, that the governor, the very moment he got the news, he flew in from Abuja to Zuru and then to Maga. He spent the night there. He was with the parents and other stakeholders, giving them the necessary support and giving them assurances that government at all levels are doing whatever it takes to free the girls. And I think we still have 12 government officials there in Maga handling the issue, staying with the parents and the communities, engaging them and trying to do as much as we can psychologically in order to help them accept the reality of what has happened. But generally speaking, quite a number of things are being done. We have the security people are on top of it. The state government is on top of it. There is nothing that is taking place that has been given the seriousness at the moment, like the issue of Maga girls. We are up to date. We are on our feet. We are working. We are engaging. We are synergizing. We are reaching out. And the security people are in the bush. And as I said, there are things I should have said here that will comfort Nigerians. But that will not be good for the girls. That will not be good for the security agencies. And I think what we'll do is, as I said earlier, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's see in the next couple of hours, maybe in the next couple of days, I'll be in a position to give you more details if it is cleared that this will not imperil investigation or that this will not harm the girls. But as I said earlier, something is being done and we're making quite a number of progress on that.
Thank you. We of course, we have no reason to doubt, the information you're giving us. After all, you are the mouthpiece of the state. But I wanted to ask if you are aware or if you are with the governor during his visit to Tanko Wasagu local government area shortly after that incident, and if you're also aware of this statement he was quoted to have said at that event, and I want to read out the quotes. He was quoted to have said, "We got credible intelligence from the DSS that this school was likely to be attacked. The decision was that we would provide round-the-clock protection." The governor said, "This is clear sabotage." Are you also not aware of this statement? If you are not, we can continue with the discussions.
Earlier, I was not in Zuru when he was there. I was handling other assignments here related to MAGA issue. If he's quoted as having said that, obviously that is the truth of it. But as I said earlier, personally, I'm not in a position to confirm that because number one, I was not there. If he has said that truly, obviously that is what has happened because the governor wouldn't have told anybody any lie. But on the whole, let's face facts. The fact of the matter is that we are dealing with a very dynamic insecurity problem. Of course, we have had experiences of abduction of girls like it happened some years back in Bordeaux. I also want to believe personally that honestly speaking, we need to do much more than we are doing as a nation. If you observe the issue of banditry in the northwest in particular, and in Nigeria, in other parts of Nigeria, this thing is becoming more daring. These people are expanding territorial whatever. Because personally, I believe if we had done much as a nation, honestly speaking, this thing wouldn't have happened at the frequency it is happening. But as I said earlier, the governor is the chief security officer of the state, and he has been playing his role and part as far as providing assistance, as far as providing the security agencies with what is required of him to make their job easier. We've been doing that, in fact, much more than 100%. You've read, must have seen it recently, providing logistic, vehicles, motorcycles, allowances, benefits to injured ones, or what not. And I think as far as Kebbi State government is concerned, we're playing our part. But I still believe our security architecture need to be changed to respond to the dynamic situation of insurgency or banditry, whatever name you call it, particularly in the Northwest. These people are becoming more daring, they are acquiring more weapons. And when we talk about save the schools, you see, the truth of the matter, let me make it very clear, and we all know that is the truth, that there is no way we can police the entire schools in the axis of vulnerability, even only if it is in the Northwest. The axis of vulnerability, I'm talking about the axis where these things are happening frequently, on the borders between Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Niger states. There is no way you can police all the schools 100%. So it means that we must change the way we fight, the way we react. We should take the fight to these people. If Nigerians are saying that the locations are known, why must we wait until they attack? Then we begin to mobilize soldiers and equipment to guard schools when the damage has already been done. Why should be the case? If some other Nigerians, as the case of the MAGA issue that has happened, the reported cases of some villages where these bandits passed through, even recording videos of them and sending pictures to people. I mean, why can't we stop them in their tracks on their way to the locations? So that, number one, we save situations. Number two, we give them, we make it unmistakable to them. We make it clear to them that you can't begin to move from one point in a convoy of motorcycles in your hundreds, holding big weapons. You move across villages and you perhaps go 50, 30, 100 kilometers to perpetrate this kind of evil. Because honestly speaking, we need to do much more. But I want to believe that with what has happened in Borno recently about the brigadier general that was also ambushed and killed, and the MAGA issue today, at the moment, I want to believe that as a nation we should get more serious about doing the right thing to deal with this problem. Otherwise, I'm afraid this thing is expanding. The bandits are becoming more daring, and we are becoming more vulnerable. And if they are changing their own tactics, we should also change our own in order to ensure that we keep them in check and save ourselves from the unpalatable consequences that are staring us in the face.
Thank you very much. You said a few things. One of them is that you said that if we have done much, maybe this incident would not have happened. What is the much that you think should have been done to have prevented this incident from happening? And also the villagers, the MAGA people, you from what you said, did not respond or did not, give information to security agents on time. What is the response, actually, the response of the villagers to all these incidents? How would you rate it?
I want to commend the people of Kebbi State under the encouragement and mobilization of the present administration for doing as much as they are supposed to do, for playing their civic responsibility of gathering information and submitting same. I commend them for that. But we see the responsibility rests on the security agencies. No matter the level of intelligence provided, the onus is on them. The responsibility entirely is on them to take the fight to these people. They are not ghosts, for crying out loud. They move in convoys. They move on hundreds of motorcycles from one part of the state, of the 3, 4, 5 states, to the other, perpetrating evil. What I'm trying to say in essence is that we need to do more by taking the fight to them, since we believe that locations are known. We need to be more proactive. We should not wait until it happens. We should take the fight. We have the capacity as a nation. We have soldiers. We have other security agencies. If we look at the situation in Borno, the involvement of the civilian JT, of the civilian joint task force, in the fight itself, that has greatly helped in at least reducing the cases of attacks by these bandits. In the case of Kebbi State, Kebbi is not alone. All the states in the Northwest, except perhaps for Jigawa, or maybe Kano to some extent, all the states in the northwest are battling with banditry, with insurgency. And I think, personally, I believe we should do more by changing the way we do things. The government should mobilize, if it is going to be the biggest military operation in Africa, the biggest single military operations in Africa, mobilize as many numbers as you can to storm the bush, get to them, take the fight to them, annihilate them. That is possible, that is doable. That's what I'm talking about. We are bothered, we are worried as Nigerians because we are watching as this threat is coming closer by the day. And until we do the right thing, and doing the right thing, it means everybody, it is going to be the business of everybody. Let's keep politics out of it. If the conflagration that is comes, it's going to affect everybody. So let's join hands. Let's forget about politics.
Thank you.
This is a problem for the nation.
Honorable Commissioner, thank you. Thank you. This will be my last question to you for now before we return to the studio. I'm sure you talked about Safe School Initiative, which of course Captain Sadiq had clarified that Nigeria, later domesticated that, and we had the Safe School, under the Safe School Declaration. So we have our Safe School programs, and the Safe School programs, you understand, have different components of responsibilities for every stakeholder. And you know that security is on the concurrent list. So both federal government, state government, local government, everybody, have a role to play. But my question is, I understand this school is in a busy area. I mean, less than 30 minutes, from the town, if I'm not mistaken. Did Manga ever, had any form of safe, risk assessment, program? And what was the response like when that incident happened? Did the state reach out? Were there any form of counter, rescue response from the state government?
We're still back to that issue of me being encouraged to divulge some sensitive information. I've given assurances that we are on top of it at the moment. The nation is united in trying to solve this problem, at least this very one. The state government will have a governor that is restless, relentless. He has proved that. He's right now having sleepless. He has not been sleeping since it happened. He's been moving. He's been synergizing. He's been reaching out. And all the stakeholders are united. I wouldn't want to begin to talk about what has been achieved as far as this matter is concerned. But as I said earlier, quite a lot of progress has been made, quite a lot of it. I wouldn't want to say we're bringing it back today or tomorrow or next tomorrow. But as I said earlier, we have done a lot on that. Progress is being made. I understand the urge of journalists to break the news. I'm a journalist myself. But at the same time, we should also understand the consequences of divulging certain information at the moment. Because, as I said earlier, it's going to imperil investigation. It's going to jeopardize it. These girls who are trying to say, we are going to put their lives at risk if we begin to say we're at point A, point B, and these bandits are at this point. That is not right for me to begin to say. But I'm a privy to certain information that if I should say it would be good news to Nigerians. But then, as I said earlier, it's not concluded. We're on it. What we require from Nigerians is continuous prayer for our security forces to prevail, to achieve what they set out to achieve, wherever they are at the moment, pursuing these bandits. We're making progress. That is an assurance I'm giving Nigerians. And that what is required, as I said earlier, is unity. All of us should unite as a people, because we're facing a problem that has become national. In fact, it has been internationalized already. And for us to, because if we succeed in saving these girls now, that will be the beginning of things to turn around for Nigeria, for the better. Because, as I said earlier, if we are united, it is the attempt by some people to politicize this matter in order to make some political capital out of it that is worsening the situation. But we have a nation that is vulnerable. We all know that. That is the fact of the matter. the proximity of the school to the town. It doesn't even matter in this case. We're talking about having more than 100 bandits on motorcycles with very, very sophisticated weapons. Even if you are talking about save the school issues, you can't, for example, deploy 100 or 200 armed men, heavily armed men to protect each school in this axis of vulnerability. I'm talking about axis of vulnerability because I know the number of schools spread between Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Niger State. We don't have the capacity and to do that. It's not even wise to do that. The most important thing is to stop the bandits on their tracks, take the fight to them, use the available intelligence of the people living around the neighborhood, take the fight to them. That is the only way to stop them. The idea of allowing them to come in, then you begin to mobilize security men for example, now these girls have been taken. If you mobilize 1,000 armed men to that school, of what benefit is that? There's no benefit. Mobilize just 200 of them instead of 1,000. Take the fight to them. Obviously, people will die, no doubt about that. Damage is collateral damage, but then take the fight to them so that we send the message to them that this nation is not going to tolerate any bandit or bandits taking laws into their hands, taking us for granted, becoming more daring, doing what we believe cannot be done, and then we begin to condemn, and then we wait for the next thing to happen in another place. I'm not a security officer, but I believe we can do this. We have fought in Lebanon, in Liberia, we have fought all over the world, and we prevailed. Why can't we manage the crisis at home? That is what I'm trying to say. That is the fact. If we face these facts as they are now and apply the necessary wisdom, become united as a nation, because Party A and Party B will suffer the same consequences that will come as a result of this, of the daring
Commissioner, thank you so much
of these bandits. We can do it as Nigerians.
All right.
We should put a stop to it quickly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. We have to interject now. We're all working, we're all praying that, the security situation in Nigeria generally will be improved on. Let's come back to the studio. We'll get back to you later. Group Captain, you earlier on, you were talking about the objective of this Safe School initiative, and with this latest development now, can you just conclude on your thoughts there?
Yes, like I said, we started with the Safe School initiative under Gordon Brown, former British Prime Minister, as a result of the first Chibok girls abduction, which attracted a lot of international attention. A group of concerned stakeholders, organized through the Gordon Brown to bring assistance to Nigeria. They came with some funding. As of that time, they were able to survey some schools and transfer, especially girls, from areas that are heavily impacted by security to other schools. Okay. They were able to achieve some relative this, but like I said, that was an internationally driven something. But I think that Safe School initiative by Gordon Brown didn't last long. Probably maybe he didn't get a lot of buy-in. So when that finished again, unfortunately, schools again were being abducted. Kankara, Chibok, and the rest, and so on and so forth. So the federal government entered into a collaboration with other international partners in what has now come to be called Safe School Declaration. Okay. In 2019, the Nigeria ratified that document, entered into it. It was brought by the then acting Minister of Education, Adamu. It was signed physically by the late President Muhammadu Buhari. But it's a different thing like we see in most documents. It's different than signing the document. It's a different thing actually doing what you're supposed to do. Under the Safe School Declaration, there are so many things you can do, to at least, do some projection, do some preventive. Some of these things? For example, the Safe School Declaration requires you to carry certain measures. There are the ones of physical security. First, physical security, what do I mean by that? At least even having a fence, a perimeter wall around schools. You'll agree with me, if you go to some of the schools in this area, they don't even have a perimeter wall. That means you can enter from any direction. Physical security also involves having a structured exit and entry into the school, where you can regulate who enters, how people are counted, and so on and so forth. That is for physical security. Okay. Then you also have procedural security. Schools are supposed to have, security plans, emergency plans. They also supposed to have things like drills, where children, teachers, they will be told if there is an alarm, what do you do? They're supposed to have an early warning system. And also, just like the question Madam asked him, it also involves community engagement. The safe school should also have a community engagement where the people are sensitized how they can raise alarm when they suspect there's any security going. You have to have issues like lights within the schools. Most of these attacks happen in the night. If a place is lighted, research has shown that any law breaker, he doesn't like a place that is lighted. Living schools with overgrown weeds, leaving them with no light, that helps the people to at least approach very near before you even know where they are going. And one thing I should not listen. Yes, he mentioned one thing that I agree with. You cannot police all the schools in Nigeria. You cannot put army in all. In fact, it's even counterproductive. If you ask educational psychologists, they will say children at that age should not be seeing guns and the rest. But you can make schools prepared. A safe school is a school that is prepared, not actually a school that is militarized. That preparation also involves, even while setting up, if it is a new school, definitely there are areas that are more, you do a risk assessment. Like this area, this Maga, is between Zamfara, if it's in the forested area, between Zamfara and Niger State. It is at that border area. So definitely, even without being told, schools in such areas, you know, they need more attention. Like, for example, better than a school that is in Abuja or Lagos. You know, if we don't have the resources to do that, you put the resources in these areas that are prone to this kind of conflict. So this is what the safe school is. But so, unfortunately, after signing the document, Nigeria is not doing much with this. First problem was that, like I told you, when you say safe schools, ordinarily, logically, you will expect Ministry of Education should be the one in charge. We have even a bureaucratic problem in Nigeria, where the safe school declaration now is not domiciled in Ministry of Finance. It's domiciled, because I say this because I have worked on that program. It is domiciled in Ministry of Finance. I don't know how that started during the Buhari administration, and it needs to be changed. So when you bring, if one talk honestly, I have discussed with people from Ministry of Finance, I've discussed with people from Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education rightly so believe it is their program. But the program is in Ministry of Finance now. Wow. So you already see that confusion. That's what. So secondly, since then there was a 6-year plan of financing the safe school. I know some money was released. I don't know, with all this holding of 2014 budget, 2024 budget, did not work.
I was going to ask you, and I'm sorry to interject,
yes,
Group Captain, because I mean, at a time, I mean, there was, clamor for investigation of the funds, both under the Gordon Brown's, initiative,
SSI,
yes, and the declaration. Some money, was budgeted to fund the initiative, to fund, the frameworks, the implementation frameworks, and that was not that. I mean, we've not seen the outcome. There was a committee that was set up. The Joint Committee, National Assembly Joint Committee, carried out an investigation on that. NEEDS came up with a report. In fact, we will unpack some of these things with you, and I'm glad you are here. But let me just bring in Patrick here, of course, who's been, following, monitoring security, around there, I mean, everywhere. Patrick, what, from your security I view, do you think would have been the vulnerabilities of Maga School? And how do you rate or evaluate, our school security infrastructure vis-a-vis within the context of Safe School Declaration?
Yeah, thank you. First, I would like to commiserate with the people of Kebbi State and Nigeria generally. It's a sad situation as a parent and as a relative of those people. I also would like to add that the Honorable Commissioner had opportunity to help clear the situation, but in fairness to him, he didn't do very good justice to it, because he's playing politics. Yes, we know he's the spokesperson of the government, but he should rather have presented the government in a better light than just not accepting some of the issues. Where the school is situated, first and foremost, is very, very vulnerable. It's first, accessibility is very difficult. The roads are bad. And if we go back to your first question and to what when the governor was quoted, and this is true, that there was intelligence and there was drill, but some people failed. You see, there are some follow-up questions that would have been followed up. For instance, there were drills, there were deployments. What happened? At what point did those security troops withdraw? Then, if you fail, what stopped you from taking away these children from out of that school? Since from the governor's statement, they knew timing, they knew everything, at least for safety in the first instance, but this was not done. And the security troops talking about, who are those? Do you understand? Yes, there was military were involved in all the plans, but I tell you that in Kebbi State specifically, I monitored and I found out at that general area, there were about 3 different attacks at the same time. And the military could not have covered everything. In the plan, in the preparedness plan, the drill, which they said they did, what was the role of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps? Because the Safe School Initiative program is domiciled with them in terms of security agencies. What did they do? If the so-called don't know, unless if it's the civil defense that withdrew and 30 minutes there was an attack, if it was another security agency, was civil defense involved and remained in that place? And why was it that immediately the security troop withdrew, 30 minutes there was an attack? Could there have been some complacency? Could there have been some information that passed to these people?
And who ordered the withdrawal?
Exactly. Why was there no teacher in the school where you had about more than 24 girls in that school at that night, at that period? Investigation found that every other day there have been students, there have been teachers, housekeeper, house mistress, and all that. A lot of questions need to be answered by the state government and the security agencies in that place. Yes, they have here, as he said it, and the group captain, respected group captain did point out, you cannot police the whole space. The place is quite wide, and there's no security arrangement in that place.
But there was prior
there was prior intelligence based on what the governor said.
Exactly.
This is all speculation. Now, what happened? Now, I also take it back to the DSS that the governor said gave intelligence. DSS operation does not just end in providing information. What was done after that, apart from the drill? There could have been some covert operations around there to be able to do this. What is happening with the UNSA hybrid forces? At this period, there are a lot of questions that should have been answered, but we are not getting the answer. But from my own investigation, you understand, the state government should have, for the first instance, where the knowledge they have, taken away those children from that area to other safer places, because that place was very vulnerable. This road, I have passed that road through Zuru. I tell you, it's not a road that is motorable. It takes longer period from Zuru town, which is more urban and more development, to that community. It takes more than 1 hour. And this is a journey that should have taken about 20 minutes. But these are the issues we are talking about. The involvement of the communities were zero, because from also what we found out, nobody can say how many number of these bandits that carried out that operation, but they must have come in a large number.
In motorcycles,
which in motorcycles, yes, because that is the easiest way to move in that terrain. Now, does it mean that the operation could have taken nothing less than 20 minutes? Nobody in the community, a town that at that time everywhere was quiet, did not hear the gunshot that killed the vice principal.
But what could the community do? What would they do?
The community would have raised alarm. Like he talked about the Civilian Joint Task Force in Borno State. It's been funded by the state government in Borno State. Kudos to them, they are doing. Unfortunately, they have lost some of their civilians over there. But communities the government should have galvanized the community in it. They provide the first layer of security.
Let's look at the Safe School Declaration.
Yes.
Of course, domiciled within the NSCDC. Some time ago, the commander of that center was on a sister program to indicate that, now that it has been domesticated within the NSCDC, there will now be fewer attacks, school attacks and all that. And I'm just wondering, I think this was just about 2 years ago. Between then and now, how do you evaluate, the security architecture in our schools? And, what are the recurring lapses in terms of providing protection and safety?
If you ask me, I would say that schools in Nigeria, especially the boarding schools, are very, very vulnerable. There was part of the Safe School Initiative, which Group Capital would have said, where the suggestion of cluster of schools to help provide collective security for some of these schools, especially those that have boarding facilities. Like we see in some planning in terms of banking, you have clusters of banking in an area. It's a security strategy to help mobilize enough protection for these schools. A lot of people have talked about the need for cluster of schools so that it will help. And that was after the incident in Kaduna State, where the university was also attacked. But the resources, some of the owners of this school, especially the state governments, have protested. And communities have said, we can't move our school that's in our community to another community for some reasons. Agreed. Now, so the onus was on what should be done. Physical security, is important. The first layer is fencing.
Perimeter fencing.
Perimeter fencing, which is non-existent in most of the schools. It's only maybe existent when you go to some urban schools, but in most of those communities, you don't see them. And those are the major issues. Lighting, like it has earlier been pointed out. These schools most don't have lightings most of the time. And that is the information I also gathered that when this thing happened, it was total darkness. And those are the problems that came up. And when it happened, the vice principal lost his life because he tried to, at least from his own level, make some protection of these schools, these children. And that was where he lost his life. May his soul rest in peace. But he tried in his own possible best. Wish he had some other support, which never was there. So the problem is that funding is a problem of that initiative, but not just funding. Funding for what in the first instance? Is it to provide physical security? For me, I believe in more of covert security. I believe in more of protective security that you may not see it physically, but it's there.
Let me just read out. I just got this from Neil's portal. And this was the report after the joint National Assembly Committee on investigating, on education investigating this. It says the SSI and government should provide funding to reinforce most school fencing and fit it with razor wires, strong gate, and escape or emergency doors at various strategic posts. It says it should also support state governments on the possibilities of creating buffer zones of about 10 kilometers from the boarding schools along all routes. The other one is also to provide security gadgets like the CCTV, security alarm, long-range sensor alert activation systems in the current state of technology of the day. These are some of the provisions of the safe school. Yes.
Yeah, because in other climes, how does it operate?
This is a standard framework.
Yeah,
that was
incorporated. Like the Safe School Declaration is an international commitment.
Precisely.
And since Nigeria joined, there are countries that have really advanced. Countries that don't even have incidents of school attack like in Nigeria. But to be honest with you, always in Nigeria, with due respect, I said, is signing the document is a different in doing something. Let me take back, without impugning the civil defense. What the SSD says is that civil defense will operate a joint operation center where if there is any this thing. I would like to tell you, go and find out what is happening, whether there's an operation center. That is not. That is what it means by this. In principle, they are supposed to lead. They're supposed to have a joint operation center,
Yes.
not only them with other security agencies. But I don't think there is anything like that right now. We've had very flashy, very public, well televised launches by the Nigerian police. We have set up a school, what do you call it? Is this a school squad or something like that? The same thing with CSDC. But the truth is that on the ground, you don't find anything. There's a difference what is happening at the federal government level and what is happening in the schools. Like I said, I emphasize and I agree with Chris, we don't have the resources and the commissioner. Yes, Patrick. We don't have all the resources to do everything. But areas where there is chronic insecurity, we can prioritize them. You can't just build a school, there's no even gate. There's no this and say you have finished school. If you are traveling on the road, you just see a school from nowhere, here is a school. And the governor will come and cut tape, he has opened a school. They will snap and go. That is not a school. A school where anybody can enter from anywhere. When we talk about even the megad that they have, is this kind of Baba megad. What one Baba megad is an 80-year retired military man or policeman who just does this up. That is the kind of security we have. He cannot even help himself, not talk of something. There is no alarm system. The children are not told if anything happens. Like I said, not a militarized school, but a school that is ready for emergency.
But we've also
emergency.
We've also seen videos of staff of the NSCDC undergoing some form of training. You know, we are told these are trainings to provide safety for schools. Are you saying those are just mere for...
Look, I am not a politician. I like talking frankly. We don't have anything physically on the ground, whether it is from the police. You will see some vehicles. In fact, they have some difficulties that they go from that fund. You will see Safe School Squad or a Quick Intervention Squad. But why is the Quick Intervention Squad now in Maga?
Are there no warning systems at all?
Maybe we should ask.
Warning system?
Yes.
Warning system, again, warning system is part of it. And with due respect, I'm not happy as a Nigerian that I find even foreign agencies, they do more than what government is doing. For example, I know UNICEF in schools like in Niger State, in Zamfara State, in Borno State, and some other 2 states. They did an early warning program. And when we say early warning, people should not look at it complicated. Even if it is an iron that will be hung under a tree, yes, with the instruction that if you are the first person to hear anything, go and go. I mean, when we say early, it's not something sophisticated. Something that will give, even if it is 5 minutes advance warning. Which again, people have been told, the children have been told that when you hear that, this is what you do. Is it that you will disperse? I have seen some of the work that UNICEF has done, honest, which the government has not even done. So again, like I said, there is this. Bring. If you NTA, you are a government decision. Bring people from Ministry of Education. Bring people from Ministry of Finance that is holding the project, and listen to them. There's even confusion at that level as to who is in charge of this thing. Call the civil defense man, or visit the supposed of the Joint Operation Center. Go and see whether it really
let's bring in the Honourable Commissioner for
this issue of putting in all these warning systems in schools. What is the situation of schools in Kebbi State?
Okay, Honourable Commissioner, I'm sure you must have heard, some of the issues. I'm sure you must have heard, some of the issues. Some of the issues raised in the studio with regards to implementation of the Safe School Declaration or Safe School Initiative. I just wanted to know, you're the Commissioner for Information. How much of the Safe School, should I say, declaration or initiatives implementing framework, sorry. Yes, have you been able to provide for some of your schools? We understand you cannot provide for all the schools, but which of the schools have you provided some of these implementation framework?
In the vulnerable areas.
Yes.
Very much. I've had the discussions as it went on. You see, we're talking about security for schools in order to stop attacks and abduction of children, schoolgirls in particular. We're talking about some of those discussing there are talking about putting electricity lights on the walls, providing this and that in schools. I want to take away the police and civil defense completely out of this matter at the moment. As I said, we're still going back to the issue I raised in the course of this interview. We should be able to stop the bandits from reaching schools. What happens in this case is that when you have over 100, 200 bandits on motorcycles brandishing not just AK-47 rifles, brandishing anti-aircraft guns, and you're talking about 20, 30 civil defense or policemen with AK-47 rifles to protect schools, we're not being fair to ourselves. We have to be realistic in this matter. We have to be very, very realistic that the first step to take in terms of protecting schools, in reality, not armchair criticism, in reality, is to have to develop the capacity, and we have the capacity. Let us deploy that capacity to stop them from crisscrossing the bushes and forests of this country, reaching schools, because we don't have the capacity when they reach school to stop them. We are talking about lightening walls to stop small thieves from gaining entry. When we're talking about 100, 200 bandits brandishing sophisticated weapons approaching schools, and you're talking of a megad, even if you have 20-year-old megads, can that stop the attack? It won't stop the attack. We're talking about, in reality, doing the needful. We have the capacity. Let's deploy that capacity to stop the bandits from reaching schools, and that can be done. How? We all talk about knowing the location of these bandits, and I believe strongly that we know where they are. Take the fight to them. Even if it takes the biggest, the largest military operation in Africa, we have the capacity and the resources to do that. If you need to deploy 100,000 armed men, no matter what it costs, to stop these bandits from doing what they are doing, to taking the fight to them, I think it's worth doing for our nation. We will be here talking about sermonizing, talking about megad here, megad there, talking about deploying security to protect schools. At the end of the day, you won't deploy more than 20, 30 military officers at the same time. They can't stop these people from reaching schools. At the end of the day, you will have more casualties. And that will continue to demoralize our troops. If they gain upper hand at every point in time, it gives them the encouragement to attack more. And that demoralizes our troops too. That is why we're talking about the soldiers running away sometimes, or the policemen running away sometimes. They know the number of bandits that are on their way. Even if they don't have the physical knowledge, they know they come in torrents. They come in multitudes with brandishing big weapons. They can't stop them. They kill them. That is the point. And they sometimes run away. So what do? Stop it from happening. And we can do that. So I'm not going to talking about the issue of what has been done there. No, whatever you do, if you don't stop the bandits from reaching the point they want to reach, you don't have the capacity to stop them.
All right.
Because they take drugs, they have sophisticated weapons, they are bloodthirsty, they don't care, and they shoot and kill everybody. We're talking about the vice principal that died. He made an effort to protect them. He can't do that. Even if we have all the teachers in school, even if the consciousness of the local community is raised, there is nothing anybody could have done to stop that attack, unless, of course, you deploy 200, 300 soldiers to protect that school. And somebody was talking about the governor or the government taking away the kids from the school. You just mentioned that the governor complained of sabotage or whatever. If an information reaches him of impending attack, what is he supposed to be? What is he expected to do? To turn the report to the security agencies. His responsibility has ended there, because there is no way on earth he could have thought that nothing will be done on the report that has been submitted. He has done his part. Those that are supposed to have done their part are the security agencies. And I'm now saying that equip them, give them the capacity. Let's take the fight to the bandits. That is the only way to stop it. Any other thing is just not it.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. We'll take a pause here now because we need to go on a break. We just want to remind our viewers that you can send in your comments and questions concerning these discussions. We already have some, which we will read out after we return from the break. Stay with us.
you have no better friend and partner than Nigeria. Let this unveiling today be a call to conscience. Let our practitioners hold the line of truth. To the media, please inform with integrity and with a deep sense of patriotism. To our public officers, communicate with transparency. To citizens, please let us speak with empathy. Let us come together to become the voice of responsibility, the voice of the world that heals division, that inspires hope and drives development.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Get ready for a special Christmas celebration like no other.
Join us on Sunday, December 7, 2025 at the National Christian Center, Central Business District, Abuja for the FRCN, NTA and Vaughan service of 9 lessons and carols.
Theme of 2025 is
Jesus our strength.
With a charge from Reverend Dr. William Okoye.
The service of 9 lessons and carols live on FRCN, NTA and Vaughan. Sunday, December 7, 2025
at 3 p.m. Be there
at the National Christian Center, Central Business District, Abuja.
Don't miss the service of 9 lessons and carols live on FRCN, NTA, and Vaughan.
Join us and celebrate the true meaning of Christmas.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still on, you're still watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. And we are still discussing the Safe School initiative of the government. Now we have some of our viewers have sent in comments and questions, which would read out so that our guest here can respond to them. And this one says, I just came back home from Kawo, Kotangura today. I understand from the villagers that the terrorists are the Makeri in Kebbi State. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, NTA discussants. I want to also let you know that the insecurities is not yet over in Kaima local government because a soldier was killed in a village called Nuku under the above local government by the terrorists last 2 weeks. Please, the CSO should come to our help. Thanks. Safe School Initiative. Good morning, everyone in the studio. Considering the current security situation, the Safe School Initiative is far beyond community or teachers. What can they do? Rather, it should involve the following. Deploy the NSCDC, that is the civil defense, at least to all boarding schools in the country. They should have an in-house outpost within the school environment. I remember in our days, years back, we used to have man-o-war officers. Okay, that's true. In school, so as to ward off, boys from coming to fight with the students or steal school properties. We can do that with the civil defense in this generation for better security to ward off bandits. Remember, we have combatants in the civil defense. Then this one also says, good morning. My opinion with regards to Safe School Initiative and civil defense in particular is that they are not doing well as expected. I've witnessed an attempt to provide more security in a particular institution in the wake of increase in the number of attacks in schools. However, the NSCDC officials demanded outrageous amount of money, which discouraged that particular institution. Group Captain, you want to respond to some of these?
Yes, I particularly noted the person that said that they should put NSDC in all boarding schools. It looks a good idea, but it's not practicable. You see, with respect to the commissioner, when he's saying we have the capacity, there is something, as a former military man, I can tell you. For a country of 220 million,
over 200
200 million, with the size of the area we have, with the size of even geopolitical aspirations we have, because even as we are fighting this insecurity, Nigeria is still, it's not a bad thing, it's still sending peacekeeping forces outside the country. When you look at that, then you have to come back to say, like for the military, I know in all, they are not even up to 300, maximum 270,000. So certainly, I don't know the strength of the this, but they cannot occupy all the distance. But you see, our work has been the work has been cut in half. The truth is that not all areas are affected by security agencies. We have the Northwest and North Central, where we have this banditry. And again, from trend, we know the most vulnerable schools are girls' schools. You get the point? So this will help us to prioritize the few resources that we have. You can have special cases for these girls' schools and also schools that are in like this. This school in Maga. You know, definitely it's this. To be fair, the NSDC at the time they said they have done a security assessment of all schools. They have grouped them. I have seen a document like that. They have grouped them as per in order of security threat. So using that, you can minimize the the number of personnel that you need. But all the same, we've been talking about few personnel. You still come back to that. We don't have enough personnel, and you will wonder why for 15 years we're battling insecurity, why we are not putting money in personnel.
Is it because of this dearth of personnel? That initiative, had frameworks such that each of the stakeholders would be able to manage and implement according to the resources available.
That is why I disagree with the commissioner when he's saying the Megad has a role, the people in the village have a role. You get the point? Then the security people carry the gun have a role. Even the students, they have a role, because by the time you train them, when you hear us hit that gong or you hear us whistle. I've seen a document that was like, sometimes it is whistle. When you hear 3 blasts of whistle, what does it mean? So everybody has a role to play. According to, it's not everybody with gun like he's saying. It's not everybody. Some people exactly. It's not. Some people is even passing information. Precisely. Some people is early warning.
Yeah.
Some people is listening. Again, part of the good things I'm seeing in some parts of Niger, some very few schools.
Yes, because I was going to ask you.
Yes.
If there are states, because the state school initiative is basically for the north.
Yes.
So are there states within the north, within this conflict zone, where this initiative is being implemented?
A very good question. In criticizing, you also have to commend states that have at least done some aspect. Yeah. I've had the opportunity of doing an assessment of schools in 5 states, Zamfara, Borno, Bauchi, Niger State. In Niger State, I found something I didn't find in other states. Few schools though, they have been, whether the principal or somebody in charge has been given a phone that when there's anything, he can directly, with a dedicated number, he can directly alert the Nigerian police headquarters. They have that. But few schools, I must say, because I remember we tell them they have to escalate. And this was an initiative driven by a foreign agency. It's UNICEF that is doing that. In Borno State, many of the schools, they have been turned to solar. Why is solar? Because the cost of doing wired electricity is so much. I also saw schools in Borno where I went to the principal office. I saw at least a first aid box. I went to Gombe State. I saw a school where the children they have been taught a drill that when you hear, how do you hide? They come out. They even demonstrated drill. This one will hold this one's shirt. This one will hold. They will come out in a line like this and go and hide behind the bushes if they are resisting. What does that do? At the end of it, I know the person that I held his shirt. If he's taken, you can easily account and say, I didn't see Amina or I didn't see Audu because he's one in front of me who is the one. I saw children. So there are good practices. But the truth is that it is so little, But meanwhile, when you come to Abuja, we have very large ceremonies. Police have opened squad, NSDC have opened squad, but it doesn't trickle down.
Yes,
and we have to remove, and we have to be honest, we have to remove this thing from Ministry of Finance and put it in Ministry of Education. That is where it is supposed to be.
Yes, I also remember, I think it was on our sister program platform some years back. It was Ruth Ogwele that was interviewing the commander of the NSCDC. And I remember him saying that they had a portal opened where, schools could, have this communication chain. If there's anything, you could, send your alert. And I'm wondering why, if that was in place, why we are recording very low alert mechanisms from some of these schools.
Probably you need to go and see the center, whether the alert is there. I think that's just what I would say here.
And how many of these schools have this? I've visited some schools where even they don't have internet facilities. For such portal, you need an internet facility to operate. I visited a school where even the principal is still using not Android phone. So how can he? So some of all these things, just like he said, is that if we prioritize our attention to some of then it will help to, and it will provide deterrent. Like the commissioner was talking about, not when they have been adopted, we start chasing. These things will to serve as deterrent.
It's to prevent.
Preventive.
It's to alert. It's to alert.
Do you know that these bandits, before they strike anywhere, they do surveillance too? They know. So when they know that, look, it's like this school, they are very cautious of these things, they will change their plans. They will change their direction. But when they know that, anything can happen here, and they have an insider that is guiding them, because that is one very important issue. They don't come to communities and operate and live easily. They have insiders. I have said it that there are people who are crisis beneficiaries who benefit from all this. We're talking about this adoption. Some people are smiling to the banks from the adoption. Some people from the communities or from nearby communities. The Honorable Commissioner talked about that they don't have any rule, any camp or bandit camp in Kebbi, which is not true.
It's a political statement.
And he said it earlier
yes,
that...
because we also got information that some of the people were also exchanging their cattle, just for their freedom.
So really, the issue is that we must say, look, this is a tragedy that has happened. How do we prevent it so it will not happen again?
Thank you. Accepting the reality. With due respect, permit me to say that I see a tendency in the northern governors that everybody has a refrain. We don't have a single, what do they call it? We don't have a single bandit in our state. They like saying that, but that is, I think that is just, burying your head in the sand. Okay, is there any governor that can make that statement? Please, but I think they have taken it as a political point to say that, you see, he was at odds. He was trying to say that as far as concerned
the bandits are from neighboring states.
They don't have bandits, but that's not true.
And they hit and run. Okay, I have some messages that have come. This is, good morning, House. This is very pathetic. Girls again. From what I'm hearing, security was withdrawn. Can those that called for the withdrawal be located? In fact, it's really sad. Unfortunately, you did not indicate your name here. The other one says a situation where security agencies will receive intelligence about an impending attack 24 hours before time, yet not take action, marks of complicity at the highest quarters. There's also one. Government should stop fighting the people they are using on ground. Let them fight the individuals sponsoring them, and Nigeria will be free from terrorists. In Dubai, where he lived for 10 years, the government deals with those sponsoring criminals, and terrorists will have no more power. Even if the Nigerian soldiers kill all those in bushes for now, the sponsors will recruit other people. So please let the government deal with the root, which are the sponsors. Thanks. You didn't tell us your name. The best initiative will fall as long as the local government is not functioning in the state or north. Security is local. Ordinary neighborhood watch, working with the police and local government will improve security. And I would like Patrick to also respond to this. Finally, as a parent, I bleed internally for these girls. All we hear is that their location is known. Why can't they be decimated once and for all if there is no sabotage? I suspect sabotage from some bad Nigerians, and this is Abubakar Ayodele. The first question, talking about security, is local, and ordinary neighborhood watch, working with the police, will improve security. And then, Group Captain, you will take that of sponsoring, dealing with the sponsors.
Let me just read out two more so that because of time. This one says, good morning. My opinion with regards to Safe School Initiative and civil defense in particular is that they are not doing well as expected. I've witnessed an attempt to provide more security in a particular institution in the wake of increase in number of attacks in schools. However, the NSDC officials demanded outrageous amount of money which discouraged that particular institution. Then this one says, the commissioner is very correct. You cannot have safe school within an unsafe state. Let us take out the bandit in the forest if you want schools to be safe. That's from Mustafa from Maiduguri. Okay,
yes.
Patrick.
Yes, so Patrick, on the...
In 1 minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, seriously, we cannot overflow this issue that there is need to empower local governments. We need to have local government working. Unfortunately, I'll put this blame on the doorstep of the state governors who do not really want this thing to be, because they still see local government as part of a branch of the state government who shouldn't be. And even in states where there have been elections as directed by the Supreme Court that there must be election, any state that does not have elected governor must not, local government chair must not receive their monthly allocations. Those who are put there are those who are answerable to the governor, and that has made them incapacitated. And that is a big problem. So when you have situations like that, then you can never have a functional local government or grassroots security where we can have a safer. Without that, because all security issues are local.
Beautiful. Group captain, on the issue of dealing with those sponsoring these criminals, I mean...
Thank you very much. With respect, I don't like going into conspiracy theories, but unfortunately, like in this case now, with what the governor said, that the security forces withdrew, I think they used 30 minutes before the attack. Yeah. Certainly that idea has come. But again, I would like to say, Mr. Excellency, your governor, you are not powerless. If you are sure that people left that place 30 minutes to time, then you should pursue that issue and give us names. Why am I saying this? We started hearing of these insiders, with due respect, since from during President Jonathan, with his famous speech, there is Boko Haram in my government. Now, if a president can make that statement, and then that's why it stops, I find it, I don't, who else has power? If a president said that he has Boko Haram, but up to now, these internal collaborators, we don't have names. If the governor of Kebbi State is sure that 30 minutes before time, after arrangement that he will stay throughout the night, then 30 minutes, he should fall. He's not powerless. It's not enough for him to just make that statement and leave. Finally, my final recommendation is that despite everything, there is still some money that has been allocated for this safe school.
Absolutely.
But it should be followed. We should also move it to a proper ministry that will handle that is Ministry of
Is the fund, is it still available? How much are we talking about?
Well, I saw there's a 6-year funding plan. That's the 6-year funding plan that I saw. I don't know, starting from 2023 to 2026. Okay. There's a funding plan for that.
I had about 16 billion. I've heard.
So, yes. So, and with due respect, sometimes it's not money, it's how you use the money. Exactly. Like in Borno State, I can tell you, for example, already there is an order that nobody should drive motorcycle in those areas. Then this safe school declaration, they went and bought motorcycle. If you go to Borno State Police Command, you see those motorcycles lying there. So proper thinking would have thought that, okay, there are places that you need the new motorcycles. There are places, but the motorcycles are there. They are not being used. When I asked, they said because there is a state government order that in those outlying areas, nobody's allowed to use motorcycles.
Right.
So please, we should...
Group Captain Sadiq, yes. I'd really like to thank you.
We need to get the a parting shot from the Honorable Commissioner.
All right, I think we've lost signal there. Okay, he's there.
It's there. So let's have your parting shot. I mean, you said earlier on that there is an inquiry already set up to investigate this latest development. Tell us, are there any lapses noticed? In just 1 minute, please. In just 1 minute, please.
Okay. Well, someone's talked about the governor not being powerless if what he has alleged is true. He's on top of it. Honestly speaking, the governor is all over. He's working. He's reaching out to people. Something is being done about the issues he has raised. He's not resting at all. There is no issue that is in his heart now as this MAGA issue. He's everywhere. He's in Abuja. He's everywhere talking to stakeholders, and something is being done. Just that, as I said earlier, I wouldn't want to divulge some of the information because that will disrupt the investigation. Something is being done about every aspect of the matter in MAGA, and inshallah, in the next couple of hours or days, or maybe a few more other days, we'll get the kind of news we'll all be happy with, inshallah. As I said earlier, the Kebbi State government has been up and doing. The governor has never, whenever anything is asked of him, in assistance, in whatever, he has never refused to provide. 100% has been there and has been forthcoming on issues of helping the security agent. He has played his part 100%.
Commissioner
I will still come back to the issue of
Commissioner Birikabi, I'm afraid we will have to leave it at this point. And like you said, I know our hearts will be with you, our prayers will be with you. And inshallah, by God's grace, the girls will be rescued and in good condition. We'd like to thank you for joining us again at this very difficult time in Birikabi. Thank you very much. Very much. All right, let me also thank Group Captain Shehu for joining us. Always a pleasure to have your analysis of these things. And of course, Patrick Agambo, thank you very much for providing us the insights into what happened in Mago. And that's Good Morning Nigeria for this Wednesday. I hope you found our program worth your while. I'll see you tomorrow. I am Claire Adilabu.
And I'm Ademola Ade. Thanks for joining us and have a lovely day.